We're here at Shalimar with Sachin, Satbir, and then Raghu, and then Nidhi. Okay, so we're here to talk about Indian food.
Awesome.
And all right, so first question is, all right, for our audience who's not familiar with Indian food, how would you describe the food, and what kind of varieties are there?
Well, of all the states that we have in India, there is different style of food in probably every state. But on a very broad category, I would say we can divide it just like in direction north, south, east, and west. The food is really different particularly when we compare north and south. Like most of the food in north need to have wheat as a roti or chapati or a bread. And of course, the curry is something that stays across same every direction, but in north particularly, the curry is more oil based and the spices put in are more garlic, onion, and brown spices as well as the red chili powder. While in south, it is again think you can get chapati, but that would be made from rice flour. So most of the thing are rice based because you have more rice in the south than it is in the north. And in the south again the food is steamed, it's more water based. The spices are not, they are put as needed for a particular dish, as well as there are a lot of usage of cloves and black pepper in South India.
Okay,
So
interesting.
good stuff there like dosa, idli, uttapam, appam and vada. These are the typical things from south. And north it's roti, dal, paneer, rajma, chole and stuff like that from north. While in the east, again we have different types of food in the east as well. But primarily the food is again oil based, but it is mostly mustard oil. And a lot of fish is used, particularly I'm talking about West Bengal. West Bengal, Odisha, a lot of fish is used there, and the curry is made with mustard oil. And you would see mix of rice or wheat in the west. But when it comes to east, particularly Gujarat, that's the one state you would find that they put sugar in the curry. So the curry is slightly sweeter, and there again you would find a mixture of rice and wheat-based roti, and it's mostly vegetarian when it comes to Gujarat and places. Bombay is definitely an exception, which is in the east, but again it's a metropolitan. In the west, and yeah, it's a metropolitan area. Yeah.
Okay, so can you describe to me the Indians' philosophy or attitude towards dining and food?
I think Raghu has put this pretty nicely.
All right, Raghu, I'm gonna talk
so,
to you.
As I told you earlier, I think Indians live to eat rather than eat to live. So we really enjoy our food. Eating is is a big part of our life, and especially sweets form a big part of our life. We can talk for hours about Indian sweets. Probably we can talk about it later. But food forms a big part of the culture. I mean, as he said, there are like 28 states, and each state has a really different kind of food, and that food becomes part of the culture. So the kind of food you eat kind of defines who you are, and I think it's definitely part of who you are.
Thank you. So now, for people who are new to Indian food, I'd like to know, what kind of tips do you have for them? What I hear is like it's very spicy and there's a lot of vegetarianism. Can you comment on those things or anything else that you think people who are new to Indian food should know?
So I think, yes, it's true that Indian food is kind of spicy compared to some of the other foods, but in the US specifically, I think the restaurants have toned it down, so you don't have to really bother about that part of it. You can always ask them to kind of go easy on you in that sense. But as far as the food is concerned, if I look at Indian food, which I think Americans or anybody who has Indian food should try, lentils form a big part of our diet, and lentils are really good. Especially there's something like dal makhni, which is on that. If you go to most of the Indian restaurants, you'll find one of those. That's basically a black lentil and butter sauce. Really tasty. I think that's something that everybody should try. Basically, since Indians are more vegetarian,
Yeah.
we tend to gravitate towards pulses.
Yeah.
That's where we get our proteins and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's something that's really awesome. If you're non-vegetarian, basically the tikka masala is famous everywhere.
Yep, yep.
Though that's one of the really nice things to have. If you're vegetarian, I would probably ask Sachin to name one of the better ones.
Yeah, so in vegetarian you have like huge variety there. I mean, like paneer is like the most famous thing in India. It's cottage cheese, and then there would be different preparation
okay.
of paneer.
Yeah.
Then you have chole, rajma. Rajma is like beans, similar to Mexican food, but the preparation in India is slightly different. We don't put meat in that. And then of course we have different mixed vegetables that we prepare in different styles. There is a dish called bharta, which is made from brinjal. It's quite famous in North India and it's really good. So just to add to Raghu's point, curry is just a sauce
Okay.
and
It's basically a mix of spices.
mix of spices.
So
Yep.
that's all what that is. Curry just means that you're mixing a set of spices to make this sauce, which kind of makes your food tasty. And so that's all that means. And curry can be spicier, it can be more hot, it can be mild, it can be sweet. That's what that is. And then what you mix in that kind of makes what that is. Like bharta, for example, like he said, made of brinjal. Similar to curry, you can find it in different
Oh,
parts.
here comes some.
And here comes the breads.
That's the naan.
This is the paneer that we're talking about.
This is the cottage cheese. The cottage cheese that we get in India, the paneer is slightly different from the cottage cheese that we get here, but it's close enough. This is lentil. This is dal panchratna.
And as I said, lentil forms a big part of our diet.
This is the protein intake that we get from this.
This is more a non-vegetarian delight. It's called biryani.
From the land of Nawabs,
Yes,
Hyderabad.
it's a dish, basically a rice dish, which has a lot of spices. It's like spiced rice, which is really aromatic. They have a lot of spices, a lot of. It's great. I mean, if you're a non-vegetarian, order that, and that'll be a really nice Indian dish. And just ask them to tone down the spice a bit.
Yeah.
It's
I've noticed that they do ask. They do always ask you how spicy do you want, and I always say
At least they
extra
do-
mild.
They do have
Nothing,
time
no
challenge.
spice.
So just to add particularly for Shalimar, this biryani is not typical Andhra biryani, which is you have different color of rice in that, and it's not sticky rice. Each rice is different, so it's like a basmati rice. This biryani looks more to me like a Kerala rice, or if a North Indian would call it as a pulao.
Yep.
It's more of a pulao than a biryani. And then of course this comes with
in
two
short,
options.
it's tasty. Just have it.
All right.
And in case you want to have a better biryani, then there's this place called Eastern Flame on Ashley's. So you should try the biryani over there. It's a Pakistani guy who runs it, but then Indian and Pakistani food is pretty much the same. So you can get some awesome non-veg food, North Indian food out there, biryani and kebabs and all that stuff.
Well, thank you for that introduction. I think we're gonna go and start digging into the food now.